and welcome to Lipstick on a Rig. Today we're going to be making this surprisingly simple beanie. For this project, I'm going to be using size 4 medium weight acrylic yarn, and this is just the Big Twist Value brand and the color is Bubblegum. I'm also going to be using a size F or 5 crochet hook. If you haven't already, then please check out my precursor to this video, and that is my How to Crochet a Beanie BRIM, and I will link to that in the description. And for that video, I crocheted a brim that is 10 stitches deep, roughly 16 inches wide, and I went ahead and joined the two edges of my brim together like I show you how to do in that video. So once you've completed your brim, then we're just going to turn it inside out to hide that ridge that was created when we joined the two sides. And from here, we're going to divide our brim into 4 equal parts using stitch markers or scrap pieces of yarn. And once you've turned your beanie inside out and divided it into 4 equal parts, then we're going to start this row off by chaining 2. And after you've placed your chain 2, then we're going to start a pattern of placing 1 bead stitch and then 1 double crochet, 1 bead stitch and then 1 double crochet. And as you can see, we don't have any traditional stitches, so we're going to be working in the available loops along the edge of our brim. So to place your bead stitch, go ahead and yarn over and insert your crochet hook in your next loop. From here, we're going to yarn over and pull up. Then again, we're going to yarn over and insert our crochet hook in that same exact loop. We're going to yarn over and pull up again. We're going to do this 2 more times. From here, we're going to yarn over and drop all the loops on our crochet hook. And then you're going to chain 1. And that completes your bead stitch. So we're going to place a double crochet in our next loop. And then we're going to repeat the process for placing a bead stitch in our next loop. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're going to place a double crochet in our next loop. So again, we're going to try to get 7 bead stitches in each of our 4 sections so that we have a total of 28 bead stitches in our row. So I'm going to go ahead and crochet this row, and I will meet back up with you at the end of the row. And when you get to the end of your row and you have your 28 bead stitches, then we're going to begin the next row by placing a front post stitch around our chain 2. So go ahead and yarn over, and then inserting your crochet hook from the back around the front, go ahead and crochet around that post. So we're going to yarn over and pull up just through that post. And you should have 3 loops remaining on your crochet hook. From here, we're going to drop 2 loops, and then we're going to drop the last 2 loops. And that's how you place a front post stitch. So the pattern for this row is going to be to place a front post stitch and then a bead stitch, a front post stitch, and then a bead stitch. So let's go ahead and place our bead stitch, and make sure that you're placing this in the top of your previous bead stitch, so right here. And now we're going to place our front post stitch. And that's going to be our pattern for the rest of the row, so we're just going to place a front post stitch and then a bead stitch, a front post stitch and then a bead stitch. And when you get to the end of your row, you should transition smoothly into the next row. So we won't be starting and stopping each individual row, but instead our pattern is going to act like more of a spiral. So from here, we're just going to keep repeating that last row over and over and over again. I went ahead and repeated this pattern for a total of 16 rows, and of course you can adjust this to whatever size you would like to make it either slouchier or less slouchy. So once you've repeated this to your desired height, you have 2 options. You can either cut and tie off your yarn where it is, and then weave a strand of yarn going in and out of these front post stitches going all the way around your row. Cinch that strand of yarn and then tie it together a few times, and that will close the gap at the top of your beanie. Or you can follow this decreasing pattern. So to get started, we are going to place our first 3 bead stitches just like we've been doing. So once you've placed your first 3 bead stitches, then we're going to crochet together these 2 front post stitches. So go ahead and yarn over, and then we're going to insert our crochet hook around the post. Yarn over and pull up through that post. We now have 3 loops on our crochet hook. Then we're going to insert our crochet hook up underneath the next post and yarn over and pull through. And we should now have 4 loops on our crochet hook. So from here we're going to drop 3 loops, and then we're going to drop 2 loops. And that's how we're going to crochet our post stitches together. So from here we're just going to place our next 3 bead stitches like normal, and then we are going to decrease by combining the next 2 post stitches. And that's going to be our pattern for the rest of the row. So we're just going to follow the pattern of placing our 3 bead stitches like normal, and then we are going to crochet the 2 front post stitches together following that last bead stitch. And we're just going to repeat that going all the way around our row. And the pattern for the next row is going to be to place your first 2 bead stitches just like before, and then you're going to crochet these 2 front post stitches together after your second bead. So these posts should be ones that you've already crocheted together and then the one before that. And we're just going to repeat that pattern going all the way around our row. And the pattern for the next row is going to be to place 1 bead stitch, and then you're going to crochet your next 2 front post stitches together. And you're just going to repeat that going all the way around your row. And the pattern for this next row is just going to be to crochet the post stitches together like we've been doing. And once the hole at the top of your beanie is very small, then we're just going to insert our crochet hook in one of the available loops on that opposite edge and yarn over and pull through for a slip stitch. And we're just going to repeat that process until we've closed the gap at the top of the beanie. And from here we're going to cut and tie off our yarn. And in the description, I will link to my DIY pom-pom maker. Please let me know in the comments below if you experienced any issues while you were making this, and I will do my best to help you out. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel, Lipstick on a Rig. Thank you so much for working with me, and I hope you have a wonderful, awesome day.